for Mount Everest, in Big Bear, we were able to put on these taco night fundraisers at these restaurants, where the proceeds would go to us and climbing Everest and raising the money. So big thanks to the community of Big Bear Lake as well to helping us get there. And it's not cheap to climb these mountains.
And remember that when you're setting your own goals, that might be an obstacle that you say, well, it's too expensive, I could never do that. Put that as a part of your goal about how you can raise money to do that. Because we didn't just have the money given to us, we worked really, really hard. We sold t-shirts, and like Jordan said, we did a lot of other things to do it. So don't make that an obstacle that you can't overcome. Just put it as a step of your goal about something that you need to do to reach your goal.
I'll pick you. I never really got sick. To answer your question, I mean, if one person the only one person of our team that had gotten sick was my dad, and it was at Mount Elbrus, the highest mountain in Europe. It was my dad who had gotten altitude sickness, and he was battling kind of a sinus infection, and I was pretty worried about him, and I didn't really think he'd be able to do it, but he pushed through and was able to do it. But none of us had really gotten sick at all. No high altitude sickness. So we did really well, and we trained right, and we acclimatized right to avoid all that.
So what was the best emotion? How did it feel when you got to the top of Everest? Like, how did it feel? What emotions did you tie to that?
I think it was many mixed emotions, but I think the biggest accomplishment, the biggest feeling, I did not care about the record. I did not care about, media stuff or anything. I just thought, wow, okay, I only have 20 minutes to stand on top of this mountain, and my feeling was, every moment lasted forever, and it was, and you could literally almost see halfway. You feel like you could see halfway across the world. You could actually see the Earth curve out in the distance, and you're standing over these huge mountains. And in my mind was, wow, we're actually here, standing on top of the world. So many, and there have been many people who have stood in this very spot. Sir Edmund Hillary, the first man to have climbed Mount Everest. I'm actually standing right where he stood, and that was the feeling I could explain. But each and every mountain, I think, even Mount Everest, as soon as I got there, I said, all right, 7 down, 1 to go, or 6 down, 1 to go. Sorry? I never did get hurt on any climbs. I've never even broken a bone in my life. Oh, that's a good one. I think that's a really good question. If I saw anybody who inspired me to do it again, would I do it? I'm not sure. I mean, it was a lot of work to climb each of these mountains, and it'd be a lot to do it again as well. So I don't know, but it could be. We did meet a lot of, not old friends. I mean, maybe a few, but old friends of my dad or Karen. But we did meet a lot of really cool people along the way. Like on Mount Everest, I got to meet the fastest man to climb Mount Everest. I got to also meet the guy who had climbed Everest the most times, like 20 times. And it was a lot of really cool people I got to meet along the way. I haven't seen too many animals along the way, but for Mount Everest, we had the yaks that carried our gear, as you may have seen in the slideshow. In Africa, we got to see some monkeys in the jungle and such. And on Mount Everest, we got to see some really cool birds and mountain goats.
What was the Sherpa's initial reaction when they saw it?
Well, with the Sherpas, we've I don't really know how to explain their reaction.
You know, they knew that Jordan was coming and that he was young, and we talked with them a lot before we got there. So they knew what they signed up for. And it took a bit of time for them to gain respect for Jordan, but they watched him and they watched how hard he worked and that he was a contributing member of the team. He wasn't just along for the ride, and he had a lot of respect for the mountain and also for the Sherpas. And so definitely by the end, or by the time we were summiting, they had good respect for Jordan, and they understood that he wasn't just there as a kid coming along to climb, but that he was a contributing member on the team, determined to make it to the summit.
Any other questions about you? No, quite sure.
What, I'd say one more time?
How did I figure out Mount Everest? Well, how I heard of Mount Everest. Well, when I was, as a little kid, I've always heard about Mount Everest, and I'd always watch these documentaries and films about it. And I've always had a fascination for the climb. And then knowing that it was part of the 7 summits, I said, all right, I want to do that. Yep. How many? In Celsius? On top of Mount Everest was minus 40 degrees Celsius. And Fahrenheit too. So it was very, very cold. All right. How about you?
Louder.
How did you survive? That's the question.
How did you survive?
How did we survive? Oh, how come I wanted to climb Mount Everest? Well, it was part of the 7 summits goal to climb the highest mountain on every continent. So that's why I wanted to do it. Plus, it was something I've always wanted to do my whole life. And to survive on Mount Everest, it wasn't. And there are some people who have not made it and who have also died on the mountain. But we were smart, and we worked together as a team to get to the summit. What was my most challenging subject in school? While on Everest on the independent study, I had to work on some algebra, and that was not too fun on the climb. And it was a subject I struggled in. Every day, subject, math. Just math in general. It's a tough subject to me. And for Karen, it's a simple subject, but I can't seem to get it. All right. How many more questions? Before I saw the map, did I know about the 7 summits? I didn't really, and that's why the map was so fascinating, because I didn't know what the 7 summits were, and I thought, wow, this is really cool. So I didn't know about it before. Who else? Did I ever fall? No, I never really fell on any climbs.